Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Saga and today we will be taking a look at VALASH. Before we go into that, this video is sponsored by no one. No one wants to sponsor me, okay? You really thought that's gonna happen that quickly? No, sorry. So if you want to be a helping part and you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit the notification button so that you get notified of the new uploads. One last thing before we start the guide, thank you for everyone who has subscribed to the channel since the last video till now. All your names are displayed down below. Thank you again for the support, I appreciate it. I will do shout out in every video from now on. So let's get going with VALASH. VALASH is an offensive setup sweeper. VALASH is a Temtem that can easily carry games with its high damage output potential after setting up with Madness buff and gaining its health back with Scavenger. However, since VALASH has fairly low bulk, it can be harder to use and set up properly, which is why I'm gonna say it's a difficulty of 4. You need to know when you're setting it up and how to set it up correctly to get maximum use of it, but it can definitely carry you a lot of games if you play it correctly. And when you do set it up, it is very rewarding as well. VALASH can also be played as both special and physical attacker, whichever you prefer. The weaknesses for VALASH would be basically that it is really weak to physical attacks because Madness buffs up the special defense but not the normal defense, so keep it away from physical attackers. But another disadvantage I would say would be a high risk high reward. This is a good thing for VALASH, but it is also a bad thing at the same time. Let's jump on to the traits. So Scavenger and Determined are two traits, and we have talked about this before, and it's the same again that Determined is a really good trait, even a competitive trait on terms like to wine and stuff, but Scavenger just outshines that trait in terms of value per turn, on VALASH. So I would definitely recommend you go with Scavenger, whether you go for special attacker VALASH or attacker VALASH. Now let's jump on to moves and gear. So the first set that we have is going to be Crystal Dust, Crystal Spikes, Ninja Jutsu, Madness buff, VALASH, and this will be a special attacker with Sweatband as the item. The reason why you want to go this is basically once you do Madness buff and you are set up, you are pretty much good to go for that match. You just need to play your turns correctly. But just make sure that the turn you're going to do Madness buff, you're the most vulnerable and you can even die on that same turn. So be careful that your opponent doesn't predict you and you should be good. The second set I would recommend is going to be an attacking VALASH, like a physical VALASH, and it's going to be Ninja Jutsu, Sharp Stabs, Crystal Bite and Base Jump. You abuse base jump a lot on this because of the low stamina usage, and this is why you do not need a sweatband on this. Instead, you will go with a resistance badge. Now, let's jump into the spreads. So as usual in normal videos, I recommend one spread, but for this one, I will be going ahead and doing two spreads for you guys, both physical and special. Depending on whichever you want to play, you can play it that way. So the first one is going to be a physical attacking VALASH. We will put 404 points in HP to maximize the bulk, 6 points in stamina to do base jump 4 times in a row without overexertion, 90 points in speed to outspeed all the 2 priority moves with sharp stabs, and 497 points in attack to maximize the attack. The leftover 4 points are in defense. The item I would recommend for this is going to be resistance badge, as I said, so you can abuse the damage on that base jump. Now coming on to the second spread, it's going to be the special attacking VALASH. This will go with 338 points in HP to maximize the bulk, 71 points in stamina so that you can do 1 Madness buff, 2 Crystal Spikes and then infinite Crystal Dusts. This can only be possible if you have Sweatband on top of it. So Sweatband with 71 points in stamina. Next up we have 90 points in speed. The reason is same as before, you have to outspeed all the 2 priors with your Crystal Spikes. Defense 4 points same as the other one, and 497 points in special attack to do as much damage as possible. Now coming to its allies and threats, I would definitely recommend that Valorant is a really good ally because Valorant can do Toxic Plume. Basically anything that has a synergy with VALASH is going to be a good ally. So Valorant, Quetzalcoatl users in general, Mimit is really good so that you can do double Madness buff on turn 1 and opponent can only take care of one and then the other one can sweep or carry if required. Kinu is really good if you apply the +1/+1 then do a sacrifice later on in the game. That VALASH would be pretty nicely set up. Coming to the threats, you need to be really careful of Size Munch. Turoktilkin, Gialis, anything that's basically physical, because physical attacks, Valash has no buffs towards them or the stats to save itself, so be very careful with that. Be very careful of the physical ones, and that should be quite good to go from there. Coming to tips and tricks, one thing you need to keep in mind is that good usage of Madness buff can set free games for you. If you Madness buff on turn 1 with your opponent not expecting at all, you can even expect that that Valash to carry you throughout the game, even kill 3 times if required. Like, all the other times have to do is basically get them on low HP or maybe 30% HP mark, and Valash just comes in and starts doing the one shot and the last hitting and healing up, you know. So Valash is really good. Make sure you kill the weaknesses of Valash earlier in the game while you set up your Valash in the process, and you should be good. The second is pivoting in on correct time. What this means is that if you know that your right-handed slot is gonna take 2 like double attack and it's gonna die, then it's a perfect time to put your Valash on the left slot if you had already Madness buffed, because as soon as that time is going to die, you're gonna get the HP back. Also, if you know that you're gonna, for example, use an Oshara Aquatic Whirlwind on your enemy, which is trapped while you had a Wolfie, so you can swap that Wolfie for Valash and use the Aquatic Whirlwind to kill that thing, but your Valash heals up in the process, you know. This applies when you have already done the Madness buff and you're about to swap in the Valash for healing up the damage done earlier. Third tip I would say is the Crystal Dust. This is very important. People run Valash mostly with Banshee or Valorant just because of the wind synergy. So wind synergy with Crystal Dust basically makes it ultra prio, so you will almost always go first. Use that to your advantage. If you see someone that's 10% HP, 5% HP and you're already Madness buffed, then always do the Crystal Dust, take up that killing blow and heal yourself up. I would not make a comment on whether you have to play it attack or special attack, because that's purely based on choice. People play it however they like. Both of them are really good in the current meta. You can use it the way you want, but be careful. Valash in good hand can even do a 1v4, and Valash in bad hands can even die instantly without doing a single impact in the game. So with that being said, guys, that would be my take on Valash. If you guys enjoy the video, then please consider subscribing to the channel, hit the notification button so that you get notified. The 200 perfect time giveaway is coming this week, next week on 18th we will be starting. I will make an announcement video for that as well. I would catch you guys in the next video, guys. Stay safe and take care of yourself.